everyone, it is Mickey here from Pretty Talent, and I am back with the next video in our art journaling course. It's been a while since we've done a video in the art journaling course, but I wanted to show you. It is this little booklet that we're busy creating, and our next workshop is actually tomorrow as I'm filming this videos, and I have not done anything to my journal, and so I figured it's time that I got on to this and just showed you what it is we're looking forward to in this next workshop. Now, the package that everyone is receiving is rather extensive. It looks something like this. Now, oh well, not that, those are just my notes for the workshop. Let me pull that out. Okay, so these are the thinnest, tiniest little washi tapes, and there's not much to a roll. But I just decided to throw two of these in. I think they're going to make some nice elements, whatever. We'll see. Maybe we use them, maybe we don't. This comes from, it's at hand, let me show you. A little booklet that I've purchased, raffle tickets, from my local stationer, for those in South Africa, the P&A. And rather inexpensive per raffle ticket, although if you buy the book it's not inexpensive, but it is also very thin paper, but with these lovely large numbers on them. And so I've just given each person three, well, not 3 sheets, because they're double numbers in the book. Oh goodness, come on. But just to make sure that everyone received different numbers, I kind of tore them apart, and everyone's going to get 3 of those. Craft paper. I haven't torn this out yet, but everyone will be receiving 2 of these pages. I left them in the booklet because I wanted you to see what it is that I'm looking at. So craft paper, writing pad, that's what will be included. Now, oh, those are just plastic bags to work on. Let me get those out as well. This is, now, okay, yeah, let me say, what follows is a whole host of different kinds of papers and things, because we're going to be concentrating on mixed media collaging in this workshop. And this is a German book in this lovely German print, which if you're already struggling with German, it makes it really difficult to read. But anything, something like die Mönche irrten den Schlaf des Übtes als eine Folge I don't know. I have the tiniest little bit of German that I am capable of, and it does not extend to this. Anyways, lovely. Everyone gets this, because this makes for a lovely page. It's also a yellow paper, so it's already a little bit aged. I'll put it aside. This is a hymnal, an old hymnal that I'm pulling apart. You can see it's got all sorts of water damage and whatever it is. So the book is no good anymore, except for our craft, which is mixed media and journal keeping. This is a children's book, which I've torn apart. I don't want the whole book, but I've shared it around. So lovely images. Now this comes from one of our, in South Africa, our cheapest stores, and still one of my favorite stores. It's from Pep Stores. You know, actually I left the labels on. And this is, let me just pull this out so you can see the glory that this is. Can I move that aside so I don't work quite as close to the camera as I'm working? So these are gift tags, 270 gift tags. I think I've talked about this in a previous journal as well. And they have a repeat. So those repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 pages of each, and then it goes to the next design. Now, when I say next design, not 100%, because the shapes remain the same, the printing differs. Now, this one, cheers mate, I'm probably never going to use something like this. there are others here that I don't like. Drink Up Birthday Boy. I would never share that to someone. It's not a sentiment I believe in. And possibly because I'm dealing with alcoholics in my ministry, I'm a little sensitive about stuff like that. But you can zhuzh these up. You can cover them, you can collage them, you can do all sorts of things with these. And so I still think it's a marvelous, marvelous collection. They were so cheap. 30 Rand for a booklet of 270 tags. Cardstock, really thick cardstock, heavy cardstock. So I thought an absolute steal at that price. Everyone gets a booklet like this. Right. Oops, let me just put these things aside. I'll get to this little bag in a sec. This is from a biology book. It's a thick biology book. Old book, no longer in use. It used to be a university book. It must have been extremely expensive in its day, but I went to our local thrift store, and there you pay something like 10 Rand for a book. And this one is actually in the discard bin. But when they rang it up, they still charged me for it, and I didn't mind paying because the money goes towards a good cause. Any case, I will probably never use the whole book, so I'm happy to share a couple of pages from the book. Let me get to these. Yes, well, why not deal with these? So, Stitch Witch is a pattern manufacturer. I don't know if they still exist. I haven't seen any Stitch Witch patterns, new Stitch Witch patterns in a while, but you can see this 80s style quite clearly. Now, these images are still really good to use. This page is lovely to cut apart and use. Inside, they have the pattern on this Vilene type of fabric, which is lovely to use. You've got your sewing directions, lovely to use. And then I've also included, because I didn't have enough Stitch Witch patterns to go around, I've also taken apart an old pattern book, and everyone's getting, you know, papers from that one, as well as these kinds of papers from the normal stitching patterns. I'm going to have to put these completely aside, otherwise I'm going to run out of space on my desk today. Now, completely aside is probably going to end up on the floor next to me at this point, because I'm a little crowded. Let me just put this aside as well. Actually, that one I still need to return to, so let me not. Okay, this is a lovely book that I came across in the thrift store and started pulling it apart. It is actually an Arabic artist, and now I forgot his name. Oh my word, I'm trying to see if I can quickly catch his name somewhere here. I'm not familiar with Arab artists. Oh yes, well that I will not be able to read. Oh, what a pity. In any case, it has these beautiful images, absolutely fantastic images. And I pulled out a page for every person in the workshop. It's going to be so difficult to choose which side of the page to keep and which not. Mine, I see, just happened to land up with the maps, which is kind of fortunate. But you're going to have all sorts of things going on that page. Okay, this comes from a book on stained glass. The previous owner, also from the thrift store, the previous owner had already started taking it apart, and so some of the pages were loose already. But I figured we could do something with these kinds of images as well, so everyone gets some of that. This is an Afrikaans book, an old Afrikaans book that I found in the thrift store, about teaching children music. And so it has the lovely yellow pages. It has some absolutely wonderful images, and then it also has these. And so I kind of made sure that everyone received a page without color, just lovely in itself, but also a page with images and some color. Don't you love that? I think this is gorgeous. Okay, so everyone's going to be getting that as well. There's going to be so much more than what we can use in this workshop that it is ridiculous. These are just leftovers from another workshop that I threw in just course. Okay, fabric. Now why does this one only have the one piece of fabric? I believe everyone's getting 2 pieces of fabric. Now this is my pile, and if I run short on something, I tend to not give myself anything, because yeah, I can always get some more. But in any case, fabric, it brings nice texture to collaging, mixed media. This is taken from magazines, actually, wildlife magazines that were bound together. The library gave up the magazines. I doubt that anybody would still be using these magazines, because the images are old, the photos are old, the whole sort of idea is old, and you get so many nicer books in this genre these days. Now the information, I'm sure, still holds, but everybody's getting 2 pages of these, because when a photo is old and the style gets old, that's when in mixed media and art journaling we start taking an interest. Don't you love this image? Everyone obviously is getting different images, different pages to work with. These happen to be the ones that landed on my desk. This is a cut-off from a previous workshop, just a leftover. Everyone's getting leftovers as well. Although I love that falcon there. Now, this was such a find in a thrift store, and this is from the previous time that I've been there. This is again a collection of bound magazines, but this time it was the Picture Goer, and it has these really old, look at this, really, really old magazines. Everyone's getting a cover page with these fantastic images, isn't it? So everyone's getting a couple of pages from these magazines, because I found 3 thick bound magazine bundles, and so I don't need to be precious with it, but this is lovely. Now, do I need to be precious? There would be some that argue you can't use that. That is you should save that. I can't. This is beyond saving. The pages are yellowed. Next step is they become brittle and completely they will be destroyed. So unless we do something to seal them in now with a glue or something, this is going to go to waste in any case. There comes a time in a book's life where you can no longer save it. That's why these really old books, they are preserved in the right conditions, away from light, etc. And when people handle them, they will be handling them with gloves, because otherwise they will go to waste. Now, this was magazine to start with, so the quality of the paper wasn't great to begin with. Okay, anyways, just my 2 cents worth on that. Now, this is another absolutely fantastic found in the thrift haul, where I came upon this whole set of encyclopedia in French, and they are already kind of falling apart. Can you see that this is... There's no sense in keeping this in South Africa, where a handful of people would be able to speak French, and they probably would never come across this set of encyclopedia. But they have the most fantastic images, no photos. They're all works of art, drawings and paintings and things. Look at this map. And then the French text itself is brilliant for mixed media art journaling, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And because I got the whole set, everyone is getting a whole book. I don't need a whole set of old French encyclopedia. So everyone's going to get a book to work with. Now, I will show you this because I've had this for a while. Right here behind me, let me get that. I have been working with my set, and I started cutting up the set. It's really hard to do sometimes, to decide what you want to keep and what you want to lose. And so on occasion, I'll just keep the whole page because I'll decide when the project presents itself. Can you see how much I'm gaining? This is not only encyclopedia, it's a whole lot of things that I've been cutting out and preparing for journaling, but I haven't had a time to sort it, so I'm just sort of sorting it, keeping it in my stash here. They are type by type as I go through the layers, but I need to properly sort this still. It's why it is so close at hand. At the same time, I wonder where I've put that one. Let me see, it should also be close at hand. If I can't find it quickly, then so be it. Even the offcuts, no, I can't see what I've done with it, just sitting here. So even the offcut pieces of this book, let me show you. When I cut out these pictures, I'll have a strip here on the side. I'm even keeping that because once I start stamping on that, it's going to look absolutely lovely. Now, I haven't got from that book. This is from a previous book that I've pulled apart, where I've just stamped on those offcut pieces. And look how lovely these are for ephemera, for journaling. So those old books, they're pretty brilliant. Now, we are also going to be working on canvas, and this is donated canvas. This was a whole bunch of canvases which together made up a picture. I think it was 30 or 60 of these square canvases that made up one picture, but it was also a group effort, and a relative of a friend of mine who then gave this to her. I think it was a kind of a team building exercise, to be quite honest, where everyone in the office had one block to contribute, and then the parts of the whole, the parts all together made the whole, but in itself was rather senseless. That's actually the motto of the school I'm teaching at, totem ex partibus, Latin for the parts of the whole, which I just found it kind of interesting. Okay, so everyone's going to get a canvas like this. Now, I have prepared mine with gesso, and you will see that I have gessoed kind of roughly because I really just want to tone down the colors underneath, which are very bright, very vibrant. But I'm going to be doing junk journaling, so I'm not too concerned with any of that color showing through. And I'm not too concerned with lines and texture in the gesso because in mixed media, I'm going to make that work for me. So that's the deal with that. Now, still not everything in the set that everyone's receiving. Where do I start? Let's start here. These are printouts that I've created for the whole course. All of the biblical references and passages that we've been working with, but also the headings. Now, this is not something I've shared before because I thought at the end of the workshop I would share this, but I have been getting requests from the people attending the workshop to share this, and that means the time is ripe. I can now show you the journey of the journal. Now, in order to understand this fully and to appreciate this fully, you need to go back and revisit those verses, those scriptural references. Now, the first couple of passages works with prioritizing life, where you discover life with a small L in comparison to life with a capital L. Life in God and just breathing. Life that doesn't end when we go to the grave versus life that ends in the grave. And that's the first workshop. The second workshop focuses everything, all of our attention, on the Father. That's what Jesus came to do. He came to focus our attention on the Father. And so after discovering life, we focus on the Father. Then we start looking at our own lives and we start prioritizing the company we keep. Because once you come to Christ, unless you change your circle of friends and the company you keep, you will fall back in your old ways. You need to develop new relationships with like-minded people who can guard you and guide you in a new walk of faith. Then finally, we focused on Jesus. Now, I know this sounds wrong, but honestly, you need to start getting certain things in place before you can truly appreciate who Jesus is. You meet Jesus there before you get eternal life. But to start appreciating him for who he is and that he is God, that takes a couple of things to be in place. And then we get to focus on Jesus. Once you have Jesus in place, you're at a point in your life, or hopefully you're then at a point in your life where you can say it's not about me. It's not about what I can get out of life. It's about a whole different set of values, and you can start laying aside your earthly things. And once you've done that, you become a living testimony. And you start living a focused life. You become submitted to serve because it's no longer about you. And in the end, you are transformed to become more and more like Jesus. Anyways, that's the journey of this journal. And now I've summarized it very nicely, typed out all the passage references with the workshop, with the headings and whatever it is. A little picture that I found on Pinterest, and well, people can include this in their journals or do whatever they want with this, but in any case, they're going to get a printout like that. Okay. They're also going to get, where do I start? Let me get these out of the way. 2 sets, well, 1 stencil with lovely journaling images, and then another set of stencils. I've used mine already. These are, everyone else's is brand new. But a set of stencils like this, and they're brilliant background stencils. Brilliant for journaling and mixed media. I love these 3 kind of backgrounds. Anyways, they are fantastic, aren't they? I'm going to go quick because it is not the end yet. Let me put those aside. You still have this, and I've just put it in one of these sheen plastic bags because it kind of keeps it together very nicely. And I did this for everyone. Oh goodness, can I even get it out of here? It is so thick. Okay, let's start with that. This is a set of playing cards which was actually donated to me, so I'm just sharing. Where are mine? Here they are. Okay, they're kind of spread, so I can't show you. I'm not going to open that one. This one is open already. It's the same thing. It's a company that printed them, and then they threw them away, and someone salvaged it from the dustbin area. They were in closed box. They're not dirty. In any case, they're in a plastic sleeve. So they are brand new, but they are printed with a company name. Can I say they're not pretty? Dare I say I find them rather ugly. I do. I'm sorry, they should have paid more attention to the design of this. That's cute, but that's about all that's cute in this deck of cards. But because I have a whole box of about 200 of these packs, I don't mind sharing. And I got them for free, and they are brilliant for creating. This is another project I'm busy with. Creating little, well, all sorts of things you can do, right? Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked into that. So, for free, Mahala Pasala, that is what you're also going to be getting. And then, I went to my stash of serviettes, and I pulled out one of each serviette for every single person. And some of these are fantastic. Some of them are, where's that one? Okay, some of them are more plain, and some of them are butt ugly. I don't know. I have learned in life there's a place for everything. And then, after doing this, I was just going to share this. And then I thought, no, why not make this a serviette swap? So we're going to do a serviette swap at the workshop as well. And so everyone has been invited already to do the same thing. Pull out your serviettes, make 6 packs, because there are 6 people in total in the workshop. And then, instead of swapping serviette for serviette, every person is going to bring their pack and swap pack for pack. Now that means if the pack that you have to share is this much, and the pack that I have to share is this much, we still swap. Because we will simply bless each other. We've got plenty, we might as well share. And so that's the idea behind the serviettes. So I'm not going to show you all the serviettes. They are lovely. Let me just say this, they are lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And if I just do a quick flip through like that, you can see, oh, anyways, I didn't know there were that many already. So I have now determined to stop buying serviettes. I don't know if I will, but I've decided I should at least. I do also collect serviettes. This is a funny thing I do, and I think I'm not the only one. Let me know in the comments if I am. But if I go to any meal, a restaurant or a friend's house or a work function, and they have beautiful serviettes, I tend to go wash my hands and my mouth in the restroom and keep my serviette. I save my serviette because I want to come journal with it. As if I need to. But in any case, yes, I do. That, in short, is the, I'm just going to open to a random page, is what's included in the parcel. No, it's not yet. I have forgotten to talk about this, not the craft paper. I've spoken about that. This, see, this is, well, part of my stash of dried tea bags. And I have all sorts of tea bags. This is normal black tea, English tea, and this is rooibos tea. Now, for those of you in other countries, you want to get yourself to the South African shops in other countries. I know Australia has, I know New Zealand has, I know England has, I can't tell you where, but I know London has. There are South African shops, and they sell rooibos tea. Look at the difference in color. That's why you want to go get yourself rooibos tea. Aside from that, it's called red bush. That's what it translates to, because it's a reddish bush where the tea comes from. Now, aside from the lovely colors of the bags, you also have a very, very tasty tea. In my opinion, it needs to be enjoyed with a bit of honey and no milk. But people differ on that. It is a naturally sweet tea. It's not as bitter as a black tea, a normal English tea. It's a lovely tea. Okay, I have no vested interest in the rooibos tea market, but I do have a vested interest in the tea bags. I mean, in my opinion, there's no comparison. Look at that rooibos tea bag. It is beautiful. Any case, I have been drying these for years, and I'm not a tea drinker, so I need to find a way to replenish stocks. We will be working on a tea bag surface, and if this, I really intend to, I want to show you this. This is a journal I still need to create. Aha. When you decoupage with tea bags, you get this lovely surface to work on. Now, I don't empty those bags out completely. You can actually see some of the tea leaves in the bags. I love that it has that. This is supposed to become a mixed media thing that I do in any case. This journal was actually the planning journal for the one we're working on. And so I always go back to this because this is my guide, my inspiration, my keep on track reminder to myself, this is what we're busy with. This was an old diary, ugly diary. Oh my word. It was given to me at the beginning of the year by the union. I'm a teacher, the teachers union I belong to, and they give a journal out, a diary out every beginning of the year. I'm trying to find one of the original pages. Now this one already looks better. Ugly, but ugly. Oh my word, orange and blue, and not in a good way. Orange and blue is good. Orange and blue is good. Can you see? Not the way it was used in this journal. In any case, it was a but ugly journal. But managed to do this. Okay, that's got nothing to do with anything. That's what you can look forward to. Now, as with all things, I haven't started building the journal. As I now today start building the journal, I'll probably add a couple more things, or whatever it is, but in essence, that's what everyone can be looking forward to receiving, and that's what we're going to be doing in this workshop. So, for those of you who follow online, that's what you've got to look forward to. For those of you who are coming to the workshop tomorrow, that's what you are looking forward to. Well, we're kick-started. We won't be able to finish everything. We never do finish it at the workshop. But, yeah, we will have a chance to kickstart most of this. And then we're going to have a lot of fun. Did I say that I'm going to include some of those dried tea bags? I don't know that I actually said it. I showed it to you. But I will be including some of those so that you can start on a project with those yourself at the workshop. But if not, let's quickly talk about how you do this. And if you want to create some of your own for yourself, what you do is after you've had your tea, you want to find, I use my cooling racks for my baking, my cakes and whatever it is. And I lay the tea bags on the cooling racks because that way they're not lying on a solid surface. They get air from the bottom and from the top. At some point I normally turn them over because the sun dries, well, they dry better from the top. But once everything is completely dry, I take my sharp point scissors and I simply cut the bag open on one end only. Let me show you. Okay. Then, all of those tea leaves are dry and I simply shake them out. Keep those for your garden. Brilliant in the compost. Okay? You can actually just put them as is in the ground, in the soil. But if you've got a compost heap going, put them in the compost. Otherwise, just work them into your garden. They're lovely. Then, this. Sometimes I use them double as is. In the example I've just shown you, I've used them as is. Sometimes I'll cut them open and use a single layer. It depends on the project. And that's why in my bin here, in my little tin, I don't have them cut open. I wait for my projects to determine whether I will open them further or use them double as is. Very easy to prepare, very easy to make for yourself. Very difficult if, like me, you're a coffee drinker and you depend on other people to give you their tea bags. I do work at a school and there are tea drinkers, and I'll go beg the tea lady to keep the tea bags aside from me, and then I can use those. Okay, anyways, that's the story. I don't like to open up to end on a blank canvas, so let me open here. The next video, I'm going to start creating this journal. This was the introductory one, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep well, guys. Cheers.